Hello everybody and welcome to today's show. We are talking about behind the scenes of the game Descent into Avernus, the Blood War. So, if you are here for the actual roleplay with the amazing cast that we've assembled, that starts on the hour, so in 26 minutes, give or take. And I would advise that if you don't want to hear spoilers, that you actually go and grab a coffee right now, because that's all we're going to be talking about today is spoilers with regards to what I have planned for today's session. Now, if you have questions, please put the word question in caps lock in front of your question so that I can see it in chat. I have got Twitch open to answer any questions that you might have, and I see the Roach has already sent through a question giving you a great example of what to do. Right, there's a giant question there before we move forward in terms of answering your questions. So please do that. All right, we've got an amazing day or amazing session ahead of us. It could go in any direction. I am super excited because of you folks. There's been some major upsets. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you head on over to www.greatgamemaster.com, you will find this website. And this website is Avernus as it stands in terms of who controls what. Now, I'm just going to refresh this. Where's the refresh button? There it is. I'm just going to refresh this to make sure that this is the absolute latest data that there can possibly be in terms of this map. So I'm just going to log in there. There we go. Okay, so I'm glad I did that. Seems every time I log in, it refreshes. Anyway, so we've got some interesting developments. The demons have come in from nowhere. They have woken up. And what an interesting space we find ourselves in. The demons still only have influence 1 as opposed to the influence 10 of the devils. Now, influence allows them to manipulate the local forces. So there are devils and there are demons that are in Avernus, and then there are a whole lot of independent operators. You know, powerful individuals who decided that it would be cool to hang out in Avernus and make a fortune whilst doing so. The demons are the ones who currently have zero influence with them whatsoever. So the local forces will be working with the devils to ensure that the demons are defeated. However, the demons have 9 power. The devils have 0. It chokes me up. It really does. So the devils have 0 power. The demons have all of the power. So in any straight-up conflagration, any straight-up combat, the demons are going to win. Now, if we look at the territories that are controlled by the demons, Bleakbore, which is where our characters currently are based, is controlled by demons. So is Graven and Quasabor. Okay, Golgur is finally controlled by the demons, as is Flass. Pharos is owned by the demons, but most importantly, Avernus is owned by the demons. This was a big change. This was a big change. It's not a huge control. It's 68 to 67, so that could change. That could change. But Avernus is the seat of Bel's power. Bel is the archdevil of Avernus himself. And so that's fallen to the demons. It's an interesting one. We're going to have a look and see what that translates into today's game. The guys are in Bleakbore, which is the great big salt plain, trying to break into Fort Knucklebone. So we're going to unpack that a little bit. Sorry, wrong button. My bad. It's on me. It's on me. It's on me. So bear that in mind. But yeah, so that's an interesting space. It's an interesting space that we find ourselves in. So let's go to some questions. The Roach says, will you be part of the Fantasy Grounds Unity beta test after it starts in November, or maybe even use it for the broadcasts? The Roach, to be perfectly honest with you, I have not spoken to the owners of Fantasy Grounds with regards to that. My suspicion will be, I would very much like to be part of that, obviously. However, the show will most likely remain on Fantasy Grounds as it currently stands, because by November, mid or late November, we've only got a few episodes left of Descent into Avernus, and to change over to Unity might be a bit disruptive. But none of that is cast in stone yet. We are still talking. So watch out for that. However, once the beta is in full swing and everyone's happy with it, we will most likely switch over if we continue to have shows. So there we are. Right, next question from AK Writer is, what happens with Avernus should the demons win? Well, that's a question that's on everybody's mind. What happens if the devils are wiped out? Because remember, when a devil dies in Avernus, they are obliterated. They not Avernus, I should say, in Avernus itself, they're obliterated, completely wiped out, non-returnable, non-refundable. So if the demons take over, it's going to be a very dark time. It means the abyss expands. That itself could be a very interesting situation. I really do think that would be interesting. Will we get there? I don't think so. I don't think so. What an upset that would be. It would be like, well, there's the book on Avernus. That's nice. Chuck it out. We don't need that. We're moving on. So yes, that would be something to look at. Shambling Rabbit says, how will you handle the fact that the figures have no concept or frame of reference for a vehicle akin to an infernal war machine? The figures, the characters, I assume you mean there. It's an interesting one, and already it's been we've sort of seen it happening. Now this is where we start entering into the territory of metagaming versus sort of real knowledge and the like. The idea of the infernal war machines, I'm going to introduce it at the very beginning of today's show. As a matter of fact, we're going to get them into that idea, into that notion that there is one, because that's ultimately what the mission objective is about. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on. But yes, ultimately, how do they know what this thing is and how does it operate? Well, we're going to have to figure that one out, and I've got a bit of a game plan in the back of my head, which reminds me I must open up a certain document. Give me a second here, as I'm just going to grab it before I completely forget, because that would be remiss of me. Give me a moment here. And so yes, it is an interesting one. How do we get the characters to know what's going on? Well, that is all about making sure that they have some kind of reference or frame of reference thereof. So bear that, or I should say, shall bear that in mind. I'm just going to move this over a little bit so that I've got that available when I need it. This is my list of NPC names which were drawn from the website of the character submissions that you guys sent through. So I will actually keep that over there so that I can remember it and use it. So yes, right, next question, whilst I have been completely and thoroughly distracted with doing that. There we go, that's legible. Next question, how will you handle, Supreme Trippy says, how do you get power or influence? So each of the regions on the map, let me open up that map again, let's just go back there. So if you notice, when you click on a region, each region has got an influence and a power value. Some are more influential than others, some are more powerful than others. It really does just depend on the location. So as you choose to support one or the other, that's what would then contribute to your influence and your power. I have to trust that the web goblins have calculated this all out correctly so that we know that the power calculations are correct. Now, for some unknown reason, you're not seeing on the broadcast, I don't know about this, but you're not seeing on the broadcast the actual count. 252 devils versus 220 demons, which is making for this very interesting battle zone. So I think it's absolutely wonderful. Okay, now let's get on to today's show in terms of planning and where we are. So the next question that does make sense to then go to that was Z10. Now that some of the PCs have taken part in devilish deals, will the party find themselves out of favor with Zariel's faction? Zariel has no real way of knowing necessarily who the party is working for yet. They don't sort of get necessarily sinner points, if you like. They do get a rather interesting, darker tone to their souls, but I think Zariel and the rest are angelically prideful enough that they assume that they're already degenerates and so are already tainted, so they wouldn't really notice. Once they start becoming aware, however, that the party is working with the devils, I think that there will be this horrific, high and mighty sigh of, well, we knew you were evil, and that's why we brought you down here. Oh, well, such as it has been. So be it. And then they might very well just send the party back to the prime material plane so they can face their punishment back on the noose, because that's where they brought them from. I'm not sure if that'll be the case. I'm not sure. Let's see as that plays out. It's not likely to be a problem for today's session. So oftentimes I try and keep that in mind as well. So don't get bogged down with things that are not going to be applicable for specifically today. It might happen. Knowing my luck now, of course, that's exactly what's going to happen. But generally speaking, it's not likely to happen. Desmanor, probably pronouncing that incorrectly, says, how is the hag in the keep, Maggie, modified in any ways from the Monsters Manual? Maggie's not modified in any way. She is as she is written in the book, so we will see what our players are going to do. What I have done is, for the past week, I've been practicing voices for Maggie to try and figure out where best to position her. And what was interesting was, whilst I was practicing voices for Maggie, she's an independent. So she's influenced by the demons, not the devils. But as I was practicing Maggie, I realized what Maggie's thing should be, what her shtick should be. It's in the book, I believe. I stand to be corrected. I've got the book here in front of me. Let me just go and see here what they talk about in terms of Maggie. So if you have been following along, if you've got the book, and you're trying to see where or what on earth is going on, we are following the path of the demons, basically, where the characters go on a specific journey. If you don't have the book, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about necessarily. Although Path of the Demons is a misnomer anyway, because it's our own path. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. I'm just trying to find Maggie here. Maggie, there we go. Maggie offers Maggie's goals. So in the book, Maggie's goals, driven by her lust for misery and her delight in the corruption of the valiant, Maggie seeks to collect more artifacts tied to Zariel's fall from grace, which of course this is based in the book, not based on our game, because Zariel has not yet fallen. When she becomes aware of Lulu's relationship with Zariel, I have completely removed the Lulu idea from the entire story, because that's part of the second one. Believing they might hold the most exquisite emotional records of Zariel's descent is what Maggie's after. She's after the memories of a particular character. Now she tries to steal their memories faster and faster and faster and faster. So that's her goal. She will still be after that to a large degree, but Maggie's also realized something else, especially with this war going on, and I think that opportunism is something that we should always be aware of. Okay, next question from AK Writer. Have you considered doing a part of the pre-show with a player together to interview them about their view on the campaign, their plans for their character? I have not. I'm more than happy to do that. If you guys would like me to start getting the one of the players on board during this, it could be done. The way that the show works is that I've got all of the guys currently locked into a call. We get onto the call half an hour before this show goes live. We do mic checks, we do background checks and all that sort of thing, and then they sit in the call and chat whilst I do this show. So we could get them all in at once. That would be easier technically. So if you want me to do that, I'm happy to do a special where we get them to come in and start chatting with us directly. That could be quite fun. So yeah, if you want me to do that, let me know in the chat. Let's say, hey, let's talk to the cast in one of these pre-shows. Absolutely no idea. So think about that. Captain Price says, what would happen if all of the demons get together into one giant blob? Well, there is a giant risk, of course, that a giant blob gets destroyed. We've all watched Ghostbusters, but yes, it is entirely possible, I suppose, that they could get together. It does limit them to operations in one area. So whilst they might dominate in one area, they'd be leaving a whole lot of other areas unprotected. So I'm not sure if tactically that's the best way to do it. I'm not sure. So bear that in mind. I'm going to open up something that we can talk about. So what am I talking about? What am I talking about? I'm talking about, yeah, so get characters. So if you guys want to see the players in one of these pre-game shows, we can talk about them and what they plan about. I can promise you I won't tell you what they do in the chat whilst I'm doing these half-hour shows. Janet from World Anvil, they do have a show. I don't think Janet's in the show, as a matter of fact. I think that it is her husband Demetrius who runs that. And so yes, there is that. Okay, let's have a look. The battle plan. How are we doing with regards to the battle plan? Now, this is what I'm talking about. The battle plan behind me here is the game plan. So if we start right at the top, join forces with Zariel, done. Siege of Braxrul-Dach, that's the temple that they're in at the moment. That did not happen in so many words. The characters did spend 2 sessions where they were journeying away from the siege of Braxrul-Dach, as a matter of fact. And we're now in part 2, so we're just at the point now where we're building stuff. So getting stuff, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4, the very first 4. They have done that. They now know about Avernus. They have started to collect various things around Avernus. They have, to a large degree, got an understanding of where they're going and what they're doing. Building stuff is where they now start to collect things that are going to help them to ultimately get to the end game, to how to get out of Avernus is a vague goal of theirs at this moment in time. So Fort Knucklebone, we're going to start introducing the concept of how they might clean their souls so that their souls will be pure when they return to the prime material plane, if they do. Then, of course, we've got Harriman's Hill coming up, which will start next week. Maybe. I suspect that Harriman's Hill might be contracted down into a single episode, or into a single session, I should say. And then we've got Betrayal at the Battle of Avernus. Maybe that's going to have to change now because, well, Bell isn't there anymore. Although now it's a case of Bell retaking Avernus if it remains in the control of the demons. But that could be an interesting one. Cybrix, the ones in red were the ones that we could drop if we needed to. We didn't drop the first one, so we've only got one in hand now in case we overrun, because we only have 12 episodes. That's not by design. It's by restriction or by choice, I suppose one could say. And then we've got the Securing of the Sword that's going to be coming up. So we've got some interesting things happening. We are still on track. Today will be the big one, because today will be whether they remain on track or not. And I think they're not going to remain on track, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So there we are. Yes, it is something to be said for having these battle plans that you kind of know where you're going, and you can deviate if you so need to. That template, by the way, if you want it, you can get it free on the Great GM website whilst you're voting for your demon or devil of choice in terms of who you're going to be supporting. So have a look at that. Right, we've got Mad Maggie. We've got a very complex situation for the characters to have to try and survive. If they go all out, if they simply attack and they go mad and try and overpower everybody, it's not going to work. It really is not going to work. Let's see if I do this. Yes, okay. So this is Fort Knucklebone that I designed. This is not the design from the book. I'm not sure. Does the book actually have a design in it? I'm just busy looking at the book now. It's in front of me. I love the idea of red caps being involved. No, so Fort Knucklebone in the Descent into Avernus does not actually have a layout per se. It's got a very nice description, which unfortunately I didn't use. I didn't have enough time for it. But the idea is that it is this repair station, this garage, if you like. So what you are seeing is some of these areas are grayed out with these boxes. That is hidden from the players. So the players can't see that when they see this map in Fantasy Grounds. You see it grayed out because it's allowing the GM to see what's underneath the grey boxes that they have hidden this stuff with. So again, this was an old temple, an old church, which has been converted over. And over here, let me switch to the right. Oh, where's my mouse? Over here is where the war machines, the infernal war machines, are being repaired. Now, one of them has already been destroyed. One of them is in repair, and then there's a bay for the third one, which is the one that's going to make a grand entrance at the beginning of the show, to show the characters that's what these things do. Now, what I have presented to the players is I have said, right, you need to get in here somewhere. So the characters are all lined up down there, as you can see. You cannot see. As let me zoom in over here, and hopefully that will help. Right, so the characters are all over here on the very edge of the map, and I have presented to them this is the fort, this is what you can see. So they've got these towers that are just around the edge, and then this sort of barricaded bone-like structure. There's a giant double door that they can try and get in through. That's down here, that's entering the fort. You can see I put a pin in there in Fantasy Grounds. So just so that you know, we've got Fantasy Grounds open. Fantasy Grounds allow me to drop these pins down, and what these pins contain is they contain all of the monsters that they could be fighting. I've already placed where these monsters are on the map, so the moment that the characters get to the point where they can see the fort, I just click on this downward arrow and it will add all of those tokens to the map. I'm not going to do that just yet. And then I've got another one here as well called Farewell, which contains all of the other monsters that I need for this particular encounter, so I can activate them as I need to. And the map, of course, was made in Dungeon Fog. So with this barricade all around them, I have now presented the fact that they could get through this bone pile. So they could try and climb through this bone pile to get in under cover of dim light. Well, it's always dim light, so there's always going to be cover. Alternatively, they could try and breach one of the defenses. They could try and just brazenly walk in through the front gate. I really don't have much of an idea as to which way they're going to go. I have set up some things. These cacti that I have planted all over the place, they're these milky white kind of structures and things. They fire out horrendous barbs. Let me just grab their name there. I really should enter into this. These are the blood-me-nots. Horrific cacti whose branches, whose roots extend out from underneath them. Now, if the characters move over one of these roots, the blood-me-nots will attack, and that's basically just like a trap that fires out these poison thorns. You really, really, really don't want to encounter that. So that's where we stand. We've established that there's this giant fleshy monster thing in the middle. For those of you that have read the module, that's the character by the name of Mickey. I must admit, when I come across names like Mickey, I go, I'm not sure I'm totally happy with that. I'm not sure I'm totally happy with that. It's a bizarre sense of irony that this flesh bag is called Mickey. Does it work? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'm sticking with it for now because that's what's in the book. But sometimes I do try to readjust names to make them feel a little bit more setting appropriate. In my head, other people might be going, no, that's absolutely fine for a flesh demon. So that's what we've got going. That's what they need to try and get into. What I'm going to be doing, and this is a very specific choice, is that if they're going to fight, that's fine. They can fight. They're going to suffer badly. This is not a party that has done well in combat thus far, but that won't necessarily stop them. I have to be aware that that is a goal, but it's fun. Fighting is fun. So maybe that's what they're going to do. Maybe that's what they're going to do. Who knows? Who knows? Having said that, of course, we need to bear in mind that they might not. Either way, Maggie is not going to be overly aggressive because, like I said, I worked out her plan. And I think she sees an opportunity, and I think the players might present that opportunity. So what it does is it's giving me the ability to say, all right, so you've got the devils offering you a deal, you've got the angels offering you a deal, which you've accepted both, as a matter of fact. Well, here's a third deal. Think about this one. So that could be something that I think could work quite well. I think that could be quite well. Work quite nicely in terms of putting the characters in a bit of a, oh, now we don't know which way to go. I like those kinds of positions because the players are choosing the course of the story, not me dictating it as the GM. Okay, let's see. Another question here from BNAA UK. Beta of Fantasy Grounds is announced for the 28th of November. Will we continue to use the classic program or switch to the beta test? As I mentioned in the beginning of the show, I think we will probably stick with this one simply because it's all here and we're familiar with it, and heaven knows My technical skills leave much to be desired. I'm a very slow adopter of new technology. It'd probably be safer to stay on the existing one. But having said that, I really am looking forward to Unity. And I hope there's lots of customizable options that will solve some very interesting challenges that we've had in the past. So who knows? Who knows? Captain Price, I think this is the last question for today. Have you ever played in or GM'd in a campaign in which one of the players has a sentient piece of armor or maybe some other piece of OP equipment, and maybe how would you do it? I have given player characters many sentient weapons, bits of armor, who talk to them, generally speaking, in a very condescending kind of way, because I think sentient items and weapons and things would see themselves as being far superior to their usual brethren, which they would probably consider to be mundane cutlery. So yes, it's always good. It's always an interesting one. Temperance is the order of the day. Make sure that the weapon is actually useful, or the armor is useful, without being overly annoying, and it should only speak when appropriate, which is generally for moments of levity, or where it could be useful in guiding the players, but not overly so. It shouldn't be a problem solver. That's how I go. The True Krista says, could deals cancel each other out? They can't. They cannot. The deals are very specific. You have to fulfill it in full. You can't transfer it to anybody else. So you can have as many deals as you like. You just have to make sure that you need to fulfill them all. So yes, it's an interesting one. It is an interesting one, but the time is up. So that means we're going to go into Avernus. Hello everybody, and welcome to our descent into Avernus. Hello everybody, and welcome to Why am I hearing myself? Shut up. There we go. Sorry, my Twitch was shouting back at me. It's always on voices. It's always on mute, and then suddenly it's coming back to me. It's like, what's going on? Anyway, we should all be clear now. I'm hoping, please let us all be clear. I hope so. So yes, we are where we are. We've got these wonderful players with us today. Let's go through them very quickly. We've got from Australia, we've got Michael Cassavin joining us playing Yeoman. Michael, how are you doing?
G'day, I'm doing fantastic. I can't wait to see if I'll die or not, but if Fantasy Grounds behaves, I might live.
You might live, yeah. I like how you blame Fantasy Grounds for potentially killing you.
Look, I wasn't the one who fell down a hole and then it turned out to, become a giant monster and try to eat me, okay? That wasn't me. I didn't decide to do this. I just wanted to go somewhere to sit, okay? That was all I wanted. Just to sit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Sitting next to him.
And here we are.
And here we are. Yes, here we are. It's weird, isn't it? Sitting next to him is Janet. Janet, how are you doing?
I am doing great. I am so psyched for today's game. I am playing Mademoiselle Larouge, the thing rogue. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to decapitating a night hag or, dying in the attempt. Because I've signed my soul away for this, so it better be worth it.
There was a certain signing, wasn't there? Yes.
Yes,
there was.
A small amount of agreement, a large amount of agreement regret. So that happened.
Buyer's regret. Don't suffer from that on a weekly basis. All right. Jenny, how are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing fine. I got all my deals out of the way before we started the stream. So, in the character creation phase. So I'm fine here. I'm doing good. X-Tech's doing great. I mean, they're a warlock with a fiend patron. So they're fine. They haven't like had a bad time at all here. This is like Tuesday to them, really.
What could possibly go wrong? I like that.
No.
Yeah, right. Kaora playing the very dry druid named Dryad. I
A dryad, in fact?
Yeah, a dryad druid named...
That's not my name.
I know. I was trying to make a fancy alliteration thing and it didn't work. Just talk.
Dry.
No, move on. Just move on.
Yeah,
Face words. Do it now.
Yeah.
How are you, Kaora?
I agree with Jenny. Thorn's having a great time in hell.
Yeah.
I haven't had any problems. Great night's sleep last night. It was fantastic. Now we're just going off to kill some things. Don't know what they are, but we'll kill them. And yeah,
It's like the upstairs team are having an awful time, and the downstairs teams are just chilling. Like, we're just, no, our regular lives are terrible, so like, this is fine.
An underdog.
I feel like a challenge has
it is-
been issued. All right, in which case it is accepted.
Yay!
Someone
More
who
fun
feels
for
no pain.
us.
And finally, Myri looking absolutely resplendent with that wonderful headgear on. How are you doing today? How's Germany?
I'm great. I'm actually on a Cthulhu LARP right now, which is the wine. Yeah, I'm from the 1920s straight into hell, and then later on back into the 20s, and look at who else survived until then. So, yeah, I don't know which character of mine is going to die tonight. At least one I expect will. Nazaya, my poor half-orc, slightly tiefling monk, is very sad because everyone around here is doing devil deals, and she feels like that's not a good idea because we came down here to save our souls and help angels, and nothing like that has happened so far.
Yeah, not a lot of saving of souls at all,
No,
actually. All right, so there we are. Our wonderful sponsors for today. I have introduced everyone, haven't I? I always have that fear. I was like, I'm always worried about
Got
it.
us all.
I did. Good. Okay. Right, there you are. So our wonderful sponsors for today are Fantasy Grounds. Fantasy Grounds is our virtual tabletop of choice, and we are playing on Fantasy Grounds. All of the monsters, pins, rolls, and other bits and bobs you will see are being generated for us by Fantasy Grounds. And speaking of generation, Dungeon Fog, our map maker of choice, is doing all of our maps for us. So all of the maps you see in today's show and subsequent ones and previous ones were all made by Dungeon Fog for us. And all of the information about the world and the characters that you see in today's show are hosted on worldanvil.com. Worldanvil.com, the world aggregating, world solutioning space. Got everything on there, so if you want to have a look at Avernus itself, or if you want to have a look at the characters, head on over to worldanvil.com. They're all hosted there. Links are going up in chat now. I want to give a big shout out, because this is who I always forget to give a shout out to, and whom I always feel awful about, but I want to give a shout out to our wonderful moderators in chat. TK has joined the fray. Always dropping in things there. Adamal, I think, is somewhere around as well. So big thank you to those. And because the AI is watching, also thanks to Moobot and any other bots who are in this chat channel being used to automate services and things. We do appreciate you. We are not just abusing the machine. Speaking of machine abuse, let us now journey into one last sponsor, Leather Lair generating this wonderful leather jacket for me for this sort of hellish look. One always hopes to look cool when you're in hell, because I think that's the only thing that one can do when you're in hell. If you just look dishevelled and miserable, then you're just one of the sort of souls, aren't you? But if you look cool, it's like, no, I belong here. This is my space. I think that works. Anyway, that's my thinking. Until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye. All right, so let's.
Wait, whoa.
It's funny. You have these trigger words. It's like, until next time. Wait, what? How are we there already? Okay.
Did I fall asleep? What?
Yes. Who knows? Who knows what's going on?
I had so much fun, it went by like that.
Exactly.
Did we get the war machine?
Did we win, guys? Did we win?
You win. Yes, you won. You won D&D. Well done.
Yay!
Yay!
We're free. We can go home.
Yes. I have either had too much sugar and coffee this early in the morning or not enough. I'm not sure. Anyway,
No,
chat
Guy
seems
has
to
to
be
release
happy.
our families.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Actually. That's true. Right, so let us descend into the space. Remember, as we drop down into Avernus, way down. You are in that ghastly area where you are surrounded by salt in all directions. That crystalline structure of the bleak boar territory, the salt created by the tears of all of the sinners who lament their own persecution here in hell. Great salt structures, crystalline reflections of misery and damnation protrude from the surface, as well as those horrid plants that had rather poisonous roots, if you recall. And when last we met, you were looking down upon the very large compound known as Fort Knucklebone, wherein you had seen several little red-capped creatures wandering around, as well as that rather bizarre giant flesh thing that was lumbering around in the main yard. And so that is where we find ourselves. I have shared the map with you. I will share the map with everybody else. And so there we are. That is where you find yourselves looking down. What are you doing as you watch this entire display?
So whereabouts is that large, lumbering, flesh-like monstrosity currently?
The large, lumbering, flesh-like monstrosity, I will actually drop the disc onto the map for you, is there. Let's
it's
how big it is?
dancing.
let's make it a little bigger.
Oh, it is big. Okay.
Oh yeah, there we go. There we go.
Damn.
Okay.
That's
Okay, no, that's better. It's good.
There.
Yeah, no bigger than that, thank you.
Oh yeah, no, this is fine.
it's
That's
eating
fine.
an enormous piece of spaghetti.
You realize that as you are watching this thing, it is not eating that bizarre tube of flesh. That tube of flesh is attached to its stomach via its navel. It is a circular root, if you so like, as if its own intestine had ripped out of its belly and attempted to reclaim its rightful place in the creature's stomach by going in via the esophageal tract.
Nice.
I see.
Good start. Good start.
Yeah.
All right. Thorn, you
Good
take
hustle.
the big one.
Right. Do we have any kind of plan? I mean, I assume we're not just gonna run in there.
I do not think that running anywhere is a very good idea.
Well, yeah, but are we gonna, we need to kill that thing, right? I mean,
Well, no, we need to kill the night hag.
What does a night hag look like? Does anyone know?
Anyone
I
can give me an
know.
Arcana check.
would like to do that.
okay.
I'm not gonna try.
All the dice.
Ooh. Ooh, team downstairs
Team
here.
downstairs
Yeah.
rocking it. Rocking
Yeah.
it.
Nothing.
Except that I suppose you guys still are at the bottom of the track. I don't know how that happened. It must have been subconsciously how much I like you or something. I'm not sure.
Yay!
Well, that was interpreted differently from both of you, so I'm going to leave it at that.
I'm just happy to be here. Okay.
So,
Yay!
yeah, I'm just trying to get into my devil space. I love you all.
course.
Yes, so all three of you, Mademoiselle La Rouge, Thorn, and Ixtec, you are all aware that night hags that this one is supposed to be, this hag, have the ability to change shape, but generally speaking are humanoid, not particularly of specific description, although they can be sometimes beautiful, but usually they're just deceptive, horribly deceptive. not to be trusted, and they have all kinds of weird and wonderful mind-warping abilities. Very powerful, very dangerous things.
Sorry, I just giggled at that. So you don't think that thing there is the night hag, right? I don't think that's a night hag.
I am going to say that if I could choose what I could look like, that is not what I would choose. I'm assuming that it is the same for her.
Well, yeah, I
Look,
guess.
let's not make judgments on appearances. At the very least, I think that dealing with the situation promptly is most advised. We should walk in there and demand that she present herself to have her head cut off.
Okay, right. That's one plan.
Does that usually work for you?
Well, to begin with, mostly because the person who I usually ask that to steps forward to see if I'm insane, at which point I rip their heads off.
Yes, but then we will also be surrounded by all of the people in there, as well as the massive golem creature. As well as Maggie, I presume, and whoever else is inside those buildings who will have come outside at shouting.
This is just one idea, but what if we used a little distraction? Could, I don't know, set something on fire, create some smoke, I don't know, something that they would go check, and then maybe we can find Maggie without all of her attractive friends.
Yeah, I mean, I like that idea. I mean, why don't we set like a trap so that they come out to us and we can sort of, pile on them or, blow them up or,
We don't know the land. We don't know if that won't backfire on us, literally.
Yeah.
And those piles look at best partially flammable.
I would say we try and get in unseen, cut her head off, and then sneak into the machine.
Guy.
Mm-hmm.
These buildings that are, because there's a rather nasty looking fence, but there are various towers and buildings.
Correct.
Do they look like equally pointy and ouchy, or
they do have spines and things attached to them, but they are made out of a combination of stone and it looks like bits of sheet metal.
scrap?
Yeah.
I think Nazaya's plan has a lot of merit, but perhaps with one slight alteration. What if we were to sneak in, and grab one of these infernal machines, and then drive it, ramming it straight up wherever night hags tend to keep the place that the sun doesn't shine?
Use the...
What?
And then jump
infernal
out of the
engine.
machine to collect the head, and then jump back into it and drive away?
Oh, okay. Yep. That could work.
Does anyone know how to drive one of these things?
Oh, I'd give it a go.
I'm sure we can figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, if these creatures, sort of pointing over at the little scurrying red caps and things, if these creatures can figure it out, then I'm sure a group of capable warriors will be able to as well.
Or you, Drummond, order one of them to drive it for us. They should know. And you know how to make people do what you want.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm good at using diplomacy.
And that rod. I mean the thing you have, the artifact.
Yes.
May?
Can we see any war machines from where we are, or anything that might possibly be a war machine?
Yes, as a matter of fact, you can. Sticking out of this rather long structure to the north, you can see a set of spines sticking out, and it looks to be quite a large... It looks like stables for horses if horses were 20 foot wide and 40 foot long. Is the general impression you get of the stable, with those spines sticking out of the one. It possibly could be a war machine, but as you are looking for said war machines or examples thereof, there is this tremendous screaming sound of several hundred people screaming in I don't want to say unison because that implies a certain harmonizing. This is just a whole bunch of people screaming out in pain and in suffering, and that causes you all to look to the south, where you see this strange, at first it looks like it's perhaps a bug of some kind, or an armored tick is the best shape to describe it as, but it's getting much closer, and as it does so, it's spraying out great big clouds of white particulate is the best way that you could describe it. As it seems to rumble over, you realize it has wheels and is most likely a carriage. Yet there is no means of propulsion. There are no horses or oxen or wyverns or any such beast of burden that appears to be pulling it. It appears to be moving under its own locomotion, as if it is automatically becoming mobile. This rapidly approaches the gate, with the screaming sound bellowing out from it, the gate in the south, and thunders through the gates as they are swung open by the little red creatures. As it's through, they then push it shut again, and it screams forward towards those weird stables that we were speaking of earlier and disappears inside one of them. This whole process takes no more than 30 or 40 seconds, as it seems to be able to move quite quickly.
Wants to bet that was Maggie's ride.
I want that one.
Who wants to bet that those things are powered by souls, huh?
What?
Not surprise me at all.
But where do we get souls?
Well, it sounded pretty well powered.
Well, they're all over the place, really. I mean, we just have to... Presumably there are stores at this place.
Pardon?
I was thinking that tower closest to us there. Perhaps we could scale it, get away inside, get a better look from the compound from above. It seems to be tucked in the back.
Perhaps rather than scaling what could possibly be a watchtower, these salt pillars might be a suitable place to gain a good lay of the land. Nazaya, would the two of you be able to get a good vantage point from up there?
Looking at these salt protrusions, which are very crystalline in nature, it does look like you could climb them. There is perhaps a danger that if you were to slip, you would be sliced open like a rather ripe avocado on a very hot day, being sliced open by a very sharp lightsaber set to slice open avocado.
Specific.
Yep.
I would like to point out that is a very excessive use of a lightsaber.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But it's a salt crystal that is about
Also a
20 or
very
30
long
foot up.
metaphor.
I can't believe that you didn't use the term excessive force. I'm sad.
Damn it. Damn it.
I'm so sad. But anyway,
Are you salty?
yes.
Yes.
I would be
Thanks,
salty if I fell off
Jenny.
the salt.
I mean, I could turn into something a little smaller, maybe, and go do some scouting. If that's a plan that we could consider.
Oui, possiblement. I think that the most important thing is that we maybe get a look at this Maggie. No?
Well, I mean, I could find her if I was, say a spider or like a little beetle or something like that.
This is an excellent idea, but I think to begin with, maybe height advantage to get a lay of the land first, and then, if need be, we can then do a perimeter sweep, see if there's anything we can look at. The last thing we need is any patrol guards accidentally making our location.
Fine.
Okay.
Desire cracks her knuckles.
I step forward to Nasaya and sort of gently place a hand on her shoulder, and I mutter under my breath in Infernal, and I cast guidance on you.
Thank you.
Just a little extra spice, courtesy of Daddy. All right, sorry, I'll never say that again. I'll never say that again.
Okay.
Everyone has that
D4
awkward
for
moment
certain
where we're all
things,
just
right?
looking at Ixtec. Like,
I didn't say that in character, you muppet.
Yes, a D4 is added to checks and things. You going to try your acrobatics check?
Yes, I'm
Alright,
going to
athletics
acrobatic
or
up
acrobatics,
the.
either. Right.
Do you want acrobatics or athletics?
Athletics, if you please.
Athletics. Let's see.
Oh, look at that. Look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah, very good.
Absolutely. Nazaya just scampers up this crystal. As you get higher up, you can see a little bit more of the camp itself. You realize that the creatures with the red caps are primarily focused to the south. That's where their attention is. And from here you realize why. To the south, these crystalline structures that you cling to basically get less and less until there is this massive open flat plain which stretches away all to the south. What you can see in the south, however, is, well, you interpret as you so choose. There is a massive army of creatures, and it's difficult to tell what exactly they are, because some of them have got 6 arms, some of them have got 3 arms, some of them don't have any arms, some are only arms, they don't have any bodies. It's just this conflagration of bits and pieces that have got teeth, horns, appear to be leaking stuff. That would be upsetting, given that there are several thousand of those things moving around the plane. None of them, however, have any value in terms of contributing to the overall mood that you may or may not be feeling subsequent to seeing this, because all of them are overshadowed by this massive, corpulent, could be a spider. It stands at least 80 foot above the ground on 11 massive fingers. Not legs, literally human pink fleshy fingers that are separating from all of the joints as this thing moves. And then this massive bag of flesh suspended between these fingers is vaguely spider-like, or other bits of anatomy-like, as it towers over them, and it seems to be disgorging this rather black ichor from what you hope is its mouth onto the creatures below. You're muted, but that's what you're seeing.
Yeah. Messiah starts climbing down, and once she's at a point where she could jump so she doesn't hit the sword pinnacles, she's just going to jump, because as a 6th level monk I can soak a lot of falling damage. So she does a proper superhero landing, and then looks up and says, something very disgusting is coming from the south with an army, but it has it. And there's things coming out from it. I'm thinking demons. Ixtec?
Sounds like demons.
So,
certainly.
we need to hurry up, or...
There's like limbs with nothing on them and just limbs flailing.
Demons. Yes.
Yeah. Do we need
There's
to get out of
a demon
here?
army to the south.
Look,
How
if
long
we
do you
wanted
think
a
before they
distraction,
arrive?
this is a distraction.
Are they enemies
Yes.
of the hag? I thought it was also enemies with the devils. Is she enemies with everyone? Is she mad?
No, I'd say she's probably just... I'd say the enemies among the devils is personal, whereas the enemy to the demons is more structural.
I
More
guess
importantly,
then
how far
that
away
is
are they?
going to be one, forgive me for saying this, hell of a distraction.
It was difficult to tell if they were approaching this place or if they were just there, because distance is so difficult to judge down here. You can give me a wisdom check, Nazaya, and let me know what you get.
Yes. Nazaya is going to do a wisdom check. She's not that bad at wisdom.
Not wisdom, sorry, intelligence. My apologies.
Ah,
My apologies.
well, she's not very intelligent. That's the problem. Oh,
Difficult to tell. Could be a mile away, could be a week away. And that's literally the comparison.
they're somewhere to the south. You know how distances are here. I have no idea.
course.
Maybe they'll be here next
Right.
second
Of course.
or next week.
You
All
will
right.
observe, striding out of the stable yards, this rather wild-haired woman, quite voluptuous actually, wearing skin-tight leather, with this shock of blonde hair sticking out the back of her head, striding across the ground. She slaps a jiggly bit of the large fleshy thing that's standing in the courtyard, and you think you hear a giggle from it as she does, and then she disappears into the large main structure of the compound.
Did she just slap that thing's
Nope.
ass?
Don't
Please.
even think about it. But
I hope it was a leg. I so hope
Leg.
it was a leg.
Yes, leg.
look, more importantly, as much as I'd love to be able to say that we can rely on those demons as a distraction, I think more importantly, if they were to arrive here and cause any kind of distraction, we will not be getting out easily with an infernal machine. If we want to try and do this, we need to do this now. We need to do this quickly.
So, tower?
As far as their defenses go, what would be the easiest or what would be the most efficient place to sneak into the compound?
Well, I
Rubbish
mean,
pile.
yeah.
Pardon?
The rubbish pile.
I do not trust that rubbish pile. We have had very, very bad experiences climbing on rocks in this place. Do you actually want to start climbing on that thing?
The Zaya looks at your shoes. What are you wearing on your feet?
Boots, like pretty well made, thick boots for running and stomping things.
I think we could make it.
I'm saying there are probably things in there that are going to do horrifying things to us if we climb on their pile
Ixtec.
of junk. What?
If
Yes.
Nazaya, as our scout, says that this is our best course of action, then we trust that that is the decision is being made based on what she has observed. There's no point sitting and arguing about it. If she says we go through the refuse, we go through the refuse.
Fine.
Mai?
I think that, en fait, climbing up one of these buildings would be the best, no?
Thank you.
I look down at my
Nazaya?
shoes. My shoes are a little special. It will not be a problem.
Well, I look down at my heavy armor. Well, that might be good for some.
But sneaking with you is going to be hard no matter which road we take. And also, Ixtec, I know that there's probably something nasty in that bed. Where isn't?
Right about that, but
And that's the thing. They're not going to watch the garbage heap. They're going to watch.
if
the
it starts screaming and eating us, then I think they're going to start looking.
then I'm just going to feel like every day.
May I possibly suggest something?
Yes.
The building we want to get to is on the opposite side of the camp. Why are we here? Why don't we go around it?
Because this is where we arrive.
Oui, d'accord, but we should not go in here. We should go
Yeah.
around and go into the building from the back. Or maybe we go in. I go in the top. I find a window. I let you in.
Was the northern side of the
Yes.
camp clear, Nazaya?
Most of these red cap things are to the south of the camp.
Ah, d'accord.
Then Mai might have a great
Sneak along the
idea.
northern side. And yeah, you're probably right, mate. Nazaya flushes a very weird shade of maroon brown.
Thorn, give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh no, you went on the chains.
He went on his own. Sorry to interrupt you, Myri.
I was done complaining.
Oops.
So there's a great dexterity check, if ever there was. Give me a constitution saving throw, if you please.
Can I use my inspiration to re-roll that?
You can.
Okay, I'm gonna re-roll that.
You are about to put your foot down when your plant sensors tingle, and you decide that is not the right place to put your foot. So you put your foot slightly to the left, and as you do so, you see just the tip of this little needle-like root break the surface of where you were going to stand and then disappear back down again.
Yeah, you sneaky. Yeah. Okay. That's a bad move. Hey guys.
Guys, my ride is going.
Everybody
Right,
looks
let's
over to
circle
Thorn.
around the camp on the north side. You've got a point, May.
Don't step on this thing. Don't.
All right.
May is going
Following-
to.
Thorn, you lead the way. Everyone follow in Thorn's footsteps. Avoid
Oh, I'm going up Thorn.
or climb Thorn. Sure, why not?
Oh, there we go. Nazaya's making a move towards this ruined catapult. Yes, everyone slowly starts
just
to move
Running
around.
this.
Jormund, stop right where you are. Go back. Go back.
Oh no! Oh no!
I saw you. You crossed over a chain. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no.
Stay away from the chains.
Well, the vines, I should say.
Change.
What are you doing?
Dude, you're still riding
You're
Thorn.
fine. You're fine. You watch these little barbs stick out of the ground as you move around. May,
We'll
where
have
are
a-
you going?
I'm on Thorn's head.
He left without you.
Yeah, so this was what I was trying to say before. I will do a hop, skip, and a jump.
All right, you can move yourself. I will watch.
I will. That doesn't sound weird at all. Well done. No. I'm having some issues. Sorry.
I can see that.
Okay, I'm going
Are
here.
you drunk, May?
Going here. Going here. I don't like these things at all. And then here.
Zaya stops right here and warily eyes the bush that's there to the north of her, and then goes,
Ah, the
"Is that
bush.
going to eat me too? What is that?"
Well, when you start looking at this tree, which you are convinced is a tree, I am drawing a small amount of delight watching everyone very slowly navigate this map that has been put together. I do like that. The tree, as you're looking at it, Nazaya, you realize that, oh God, it isn't a tree. It's a collection of, again, organic, human, elvish arms and legs that have all been stitched together to look like a tree, with fingers outsplayed like one of those bizarre contortionist troupes that do these weird and wonderful performance art pieces wearing nothing but thongs. This is just the legs and the arms of those kinds of individuals, vaguely stapled, stitched, or just punctured together with bits of bone in the shape of a tree, and they're just very gently moving, twitching in a non-existent wind.
Charming.
Yeah.
Reminds me of my uncle, actually.
Zaya goes even greener.
Right.
Are there shadows, guy?
There are insipid shadows. Absolutely horrifically insipid shadows. I just need to make a very quick roll here. Okay, good. Yep. So
So
far,
we
the
do
dogs
have,
seem to know that.
No,
Sorry, go
Thorn.
ahead, Michael.
We're both being so polite. Amongst all the amalgamed flesh, is there any mouths or anything that would arguably make a lot of noise on the tree?
Not that you can see, but you can give me a perception check.
I'm gonna keep an eye on the tower to the south of us and
Sure
the
thing.
building to sort of see if
Okay.
anything is looking at us.
You can hear laughter coming from the tower.
Okay.
Is what
So-
you
Laughing at me.
Guy, we have the pass without trace on my staff,
That's
just in
right.
case that was is interesting for roles. And also, these cactuses
Yes.
where the thorns are coming out, how big are they? They look huge.
They are. One of them, the one to your immediate south, is 50 or 60 foot tall, covered in spines, and quite easily extends out over the barricades that have been erected. The bright green one on its own there in the middle of the map, also 70 foot easily, with 3 very large branches sticking out over the camp. This one, both of those, the spines are probably, you would say you could probably make a very nasty stiletto out of the thorns, a stiletto dagger out of the
They're
spines.
massive.
There's a pair of
They
nasty
are-
stilettos
they
out of
are-
them too.
Right.
Yes, they are massive spines, to the point that you reckon they might be able to actually hold you, provided that you don't get impaled upon one of them.
Right.
Yes.
Can I? No, actually, I'm not
Remember
going to
what
do that.
happened last time you tried to
Yeah,
speak to
it's
them
just like.
What's on your mind? Phone? Like you're chewing on an idea. Out with it.
From this vantage point, all you can hear is laughter coming from that tower. You can no longer see any of the red caps, and there is now the sound of metal banging coming from within the camp. It echoes around on all of the crystal structures around you, but there's definitely metal being walloped, hit, or abused in some way coming from the camp, from the stables, you think.
I'm gonna use my magic sight, by the way.
Okay.
To see magic traps, things. I don't know.
Where are you looking first? Because it's a cone, I believe.
Detect magic?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of me.
I was within 30 feet of you. All right. Within
Yep.
30 feet of you, you are there, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You can detect transmutation magic. Quite powerful transmutation magic.
Mm-hmm. And if I...
Coming from the tower.
Interesting. Nothing else in the area is magical?
No, not that you can tell over the general background hum of magic that emanates from this place.
Yep, that makes sense. So, should we keep moving? I have
We
a
don't
bad
choose.
feeling about that tower.
I do want to talk to this plant, actually.
I don't think it's a plant, Thorn.
I think I'm gonna speak to this big one here. I'm just gonna have a little.
Oh, that one. Oh.
I'm gonna
Yes,
sort of
not
slowly approach.
that one.
No, I'm getting down first. Huh? You just wait one second. I think this is a terrible idea. I will be back here. I got your back. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just gonna see if this guy is friendly. I'm gonna cast speak with plants.
Yes, spikes like little needles, and you know if it was friendly.
Desire size. Who's betting
So-
against it being friendly?
I reread the spell, and apparently it gives them the ability to communicate with you and follow my commands.
Ooh.
If they want to, I assume.
What do you say to this gigantic cacti?
Hey there, big guy. I was wondering, do you think you could let us climb you and get on that tower? I'd even throw some of those mushroom guys on you so you could feed for a little bit.
Feed. It says
Yeah,
the whole
that's right.
plant. You all watch as this plant slowly twists on its trunk and slightly bends to look down at you.
Oh, hey.
Feed.
On?
Yeah, I'm just having a little talk with the big guy here. He might be friendly.
Think.
Yep.
Take another step back.
Yeah, May just did the same.
You know, I'm starting to think Thorn might not be the best judge of character.
So, how about that letting us just climb up you for just a quick second?
To what purpose?
Oh, we want to get in and steal one of those machines. But to make it worth your while, I'd be more than willing to throw some of those mushroom guys into your path.
The entire structure seems to quiver slightly, and all of the thorns on it, all of the spines, gently rattle as if a breeze had suddenly tickled them all.
Mm-hmm.
And then this huge root lifts up out of the ground, revealing a dark space.
Oh, what's this? Is this a way in?
Mushroom people feed.
Okay. Well, that's good enough for me. So this big tree guy, he's friendly. He'd like to offer us a way inside.
Are you sure that's what he's doing?
I mean, I'm 50% sure.
50.
Yeah, it's not a high chance, but it's 50-50, right? That we could be fine.
It's pretty good odds for this place, I'd say.
Yeah.
Let me go first. At least I can
Okay.
try and secure the other side if need be, and... well,
Did you specifically ask for safe passage for all of us or just for you, Thorn?
Oh yeah, hey, big guy, all of us. Yeah, we're just gonna go. Whoop.
Mushroom feed.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab you some of those mushroom people. I'm gonna throw them right in your thorns. How's that sound?
There's a quivering and the thorns rattle again.
Oh yeah, you like that, don't you, big guy? Okay. We're definitely gonna give you some mushroom friends. How many you thinking a few?
I would like to remind us all what happened last time. We climbed into a dark hole in this place.
I mean, that's true, but can you see how many chains and thorns are all around this perimeter? We're gonna have to get through here somehow.
How about you all go in the dark hole and I will meet you on the other side, huh? I have other ways in.
Okay,
Jordan
that's
starts to
fine.
walk through.
So, Jormund, you're going to walk through?
Yep.
All right. Jormund, you are crawling through. Nazaya?
I'm grabbing Nazaya's arm.
What are you going to do?
I think that you should stay with me, huh? I that is a good place to go. So,
Crawling on my hands and knees like some sort of commoner, I swear. Dignity of
what
the
happens
soul.
to them, and we can go after if they're fine, or we can go off the building because we're not wearing a tin can.
I'm
I
gonna
feel like
follow
someone's
Jormund.
sassing me.
Ixtec
Well,
starts to follow Jormund.
If you two are gonna meet us on the other side, I'll see you in a second. But we're gonna get in this tower, or maybe on the other side of this wall.
That is fine. When we see you, we will come running.
Okay. I follow Iztec.
All right.
Bon chance. Be well. Hello.
The three of you crawling through the passageway, or
Just
who knows
walked
what's the
hunched,
tunnel.
really.
Yeah, it's fairly large, but you are walking through, and every now and again having to push aside the roots that are hanging in this thing. And as you sort of push them aside, a thorn, every now and again you hear, tasty, feed, as a frond washes over Jormund, or as Ixtec pushes aside a bit of root as you...
Hey, remember our deal. Loads of mushroom friends, not us.
Deal. Devil.
Yeah, that's right.
Happening. Meanwhile, sneaking around the side of the map there, we've got...
Chiefly commandos.
Yes, the two tieflings are sneaking away.
the two commandos.
I'm not getting in anything's mouth. Not twice.
Are they protected? They're no longer protected by your pass without trace, Thorn. Is that correct?
No, because they've left 30 feet.
Okay, so in which case I would require both. Yes.
I cast pass without trace.
All right. Easy enough.
Yeah, in your
Easy
face.
Enough. The two of you are obscured from the surrounding areas. All you two can hear as you get close to this tower is coming coming from within.
Yeah, they're having fun.
So,
You get to the base of the tower.
how tall is the tower?
The tower extends up 20 feet and then has a bizarre... It looks like the idea of battlements, but not actual battlements.
Is there anything on the top that we can see?
You don't remember seeing anything from the height vantage that you had before, just basically an old tower meant to look like it has a battlement. People could stand up here, arguably, or up there, but you didn't see anyone up there.
Okay. I have shoes of spid. That is, sorry, you don't speak, idiot. Sorry. I have shoes of spider kind.
There we go.
So I'm going up the side of the tower, and I have a rope.
You are cheating.
And, do you know what? I could do it your way, but it looks so much like hard work.
You start climbing up this tower, well, walking up this tower with ease, pulling a Spider-Man on the crowd. Desire, are you going to hold on to the rope that's been offered by May?
If she actually puts it somewhere safe and not just dangling it over the side, then yes. Otherwise, I'm just climbing on my own.
All right. May, you get to the top of this tower without a problem, and it's empty, relatively empty, so you can move your figure over the top of it. Nothing is up here. There is an inordinately large amount of peanut shells on the ground. So much so that it's difficult to tread up here without stepping on a peanut shell. Most of them have decayed over quite a long period of time, but the rest seem fairly fresh. There is a hatch that leads down into the structure itself. Otherwise, from here you can see into the rest of the compound. You going to secure the rope for Nazaya?
Yeah. If there's something I can tie it onto, I will tie it onto it.
There's bits of metal, there's bits of piping, there's wooden buttress or reinforcements that have been reinforced with more wood and nails. This is a tetanus show waiting to happen. Not well designed whatsoever, and everything has got a very light patina of salt crystals along the top, so it will hurt in all of the ways possible if you were to cut yourself on this place. It's just nasty. So that is what you're doing. You're busy climbing up there. The three of you are busy going through this passageway. It brings you out, thankfully, on the other side of the barricade, in the shadow of this large tower. I don't know why I did it that way. So that's the no, we're getting there. That's the order. No,
you can do it.
Still not.
You believe in you.
There we go.
Get there.
Actually,
You can do it.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, there we go.
Do
So
it.
that's the order that you come out on. As you crawl out the back, this thing says to you, Thorn, remember.
Yeah, I'll remember. Look, you've been very friendly. I mean, I'm not gonna piss you off. We'll get you some mushroom friends. And also, if I have time, I'll come back and I'll give you some special, something special. I've got an idea. So you just wait there. I'll get you your mushrooms.
Again, there's that little quivering from the
Oh,
sprays,
yeah.
as you mentioned.
Wait there.
The little mushrooms.
Well, Thorn, by the voice, I think you've done a damn good job there.
I mean, I'm pretty good with plants, and
You
it is
really
a
are.
plant.
I'm sorry
Weirdly.
for doubting you, Thorn. That was very well done.
Sorry, just
Charming
to
detective,
clarify,
who would've
guy,
thought?
Yes.
is he? What's the size class of that
Gargantuan.
thing? Damn it! Okay.
I'm sorry. Do you want it bigger?
No, I wanted it huge because that would have been perfect. But don't worry, nothing. Just plans. It's fine.
Plants.
Oh, you can.
When
Okay.
foliage doesn't cooperate.
Let us wait for Maya and Nazaya, he says in hushed tones.
There is a horrific splintering and snapping sound as the passageway closes behind you. From the tower to your left, you can see you can hear the laughter coming. From the structure to your right, you can hear the banging, rattling sound and mutterings in a language that you are completely unfamiliar with, unless anyone here speaks angelic or divine. Or celestial would be the right term. No celestial speakers? Yeah. No? Well, that's not what you're hearing, because you don't know what it is. It's just this thing.
Okay.
Correct.
Looking at the door that that's leading into this tower,
Yes.
that's on the lower level?
It is indeed.
Is there kind of like a handle or something that I could stick like a bit of bone or refuse in to kind of barricade that door and lock it?
You can give me a sleight of hand check.
Sleight of hand, eh?
Yeah, or survival.
Sleight of hand.
The door
Hey.
does certainly seem to open outwards, which makes sense for this particular construction. And so yes, you could wedge any number. The ground there is definitely salt underneath, but there's also scraps of chain and metal and debris and detritus. It's easy enough to pick up a wedge of iron and just, if you want to try and jam it in there, do so.
I do so.
All right.
And I'll like also bend it as well, just to kind of.
Okay, give me a stealth check if you please.
Yo.
Clonk, tong, gong, crash.
Oh, dang it.
Oh!
Oh,
Dropped
Oh
a 20.
no!
oh.
Dropped to 20.
Dropped to 20. That was sad. Yeah, you all watch as Jormund goes over very stealthily, takes this piece of metal, wedges it under the door, and then bang, 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 as he tries to wedge it into the door frame.
Ixtec turns invisible.
Wait, doesn't he have +10 because it passed without trace?
He does have +10. But even with +10, to all of you, it sounds like he is basically holding a parade in this space. But
I still turn invisible.
If I'm making the banging sound, can I try and do it like in time with the banging that's happening inside?
Ooh.
you could have.
Damn it. Okay. Hindsight. Why do you betray me?
Yes, we need that spell,
Captain
hindsight. The two of you are on top of the tower. You vaguely hear this banging sound, but that's exactly the same as what's happening in the stable yard, so it doesn't seem out of place. What are you doing up here on the tower? The hatch is open, ever so slightly, and again, you can hear that laughter coming from underneath it.
Is there any way we can close the hatch and wedge it shut? Any mechanism by which that might be possible?
You could drag some of the debris that's up here on top of that hatch, and they'd have to push it open.
Nope, not good enough. All right. Okay, I edge my way to the end of the tower and I go, "Psst, what's the idiot doing?"
You see Thorn and Jormund.
I'm just gonna tap.
As Ixtec.
I'm gonna tap Thorn on the shoulder and go, I'm going to make sure no one heard that. I'll be close.
Okay, voice.
It's me, Ixtec.
Oh, right. Yeah, I knew that.
Of course you did.
Nazaya?
Considering that we're now under two different versions of the Pass Without Trace spell, do we even see each other? I feel like you might set us up in a perfect idiot trap.
I had that debate in my head, and I think you can see each other.
Thank you.
I think you can. Because,
We do know what we're looking for.
yeah.
I look down at my hands. I can't see them anymore.
It creates a bunch of shadows, so technically it's like double shadows.
Yes, this is a weird thing happening. Yeah, you do know what you're looking for, so I don't have a problem with you guys knowing what each other is. All right, so that's what I'm just busy checking here quickly to make sure everything makes sense.
How many enemies are there?
Okay, so that's fine. Ixtec, you step out into this open square, or into this space. again, you can see these little red-capped creatures hunkering around, loitering around the gates. One of them is smoking an old cigarette, leaning against the tower. You realize they stand maybe 2 foot high at best, with the peak of their cap contributing to that height. And yeah, they look like a bunch of dirty old street urchins, just sort of hanging about, chatting in small groups and things. That's to the south. I will add some of them to the table for you to be able to have a look at.
Thank you.
Just so you know what's going on. So
Thank you.
there are...
I like knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
It's so rare in real life, so that we have to have these power fantasies in games
Where you
to know what's happening and being able to do something about it.
I won't
And
burst
have
your
a
bubble.
plan.
Thank you.
So you're seeing these... Oops. So one, you're seeing these sort of scattered around... That's what you're seeing on the map. Those loitering, those 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna start hunting around the edge and sort of peer into this thing.
Okay, that's what you're going to do. That's your ambition in life, Jormund.
I'm going to gesture for Maya and Nazaya to come down. I'll wait until we're regrouped, as it were.
Okay, I'll go to Maya and Nazaya.
I have rolled a stealth roll because I would like to put some things on that trapdoor quietly.
Lovely, absolutely. Heavy things?
Yes. I mean, immovable would be the preference.
Sure.
But you work with what you got, right?
Without constructing something, yes, it would be just lots of heavy things and peanut shells, predominantly.
If I can slow them down, then that is fine.
Sure.
Where do they get peanuts?
I was also wondering the same thing. And you know what? Now I want peanuts.
Yeah, you made a devil deal for peanuts.
No, I made a devil deal so you would have food, so you would not die. I put my arm around her
Mate,
and pat
do
her
you
shoulder.
really think I can eat food that you made a devil deal for in this place? You think that's how the rules are?
I guess we will find out, no?
Yeah. Nazaya steps backwards and drops off the building.
Oh
Hey,
God!
when she does that.
And does a cute little monk flip and lands with that.
Lovely. Yep, it's only 20 feet.
Ants without a trace.
Thorn?
I'm gonna just slowly start walking out.
Stealthily? Or just
Oh, very
casual
stealthily.
tree-like?
Well, it's one and the same, really. Just
Yeah.
very, very just. Okay, I'm just walking here.
So
I'm
with the intent
invisible.
of not being seen is what I'm driving
Yeah,
at.
of course.
Yes, all right, okay, all right, that's absolutely fine.
They'll fit it free.
Jormund, you're still waiting for everyone to regroup now that everyone's splitting apart?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, more. I'm
I'm
waiting to make sure
scouting.
that Maya and Nazaya are okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, Nazaya lands next to you. You have no idea where May is. Ixtec, you are scouting. You heading
Yeah.
towards this structure. As you do so, you see that the front of the structure is completely open. I will reveal it to you. There is the large metal cadaver of a vehicle that looked very similar to the one that came rumbling in. It looks more like it was a deranged crayfish than anything else, or perhaps some kind of Chul-inspired design. You're not entirely sure what, but it's definitely dead. Bits of it are lying all over the place. You can see this spinal structure snapped in half, and these great big spines sticking out of the front of it, wheels and cogs everywhere. It does not seem moving. The middle one contains even less crates and boxes, but the third one is the one that contains that bizarre structure, so now I have to add everybody to the list.
Yay!
So I'm going to just add in some creatures here quickly. Bear with me. As you look in, you can see this very obvious shaped thing. And
Yes, these magic circles that are on the ground there, are they
Yes.
inert or are they glowing with magic at this point?
The one that is in the far right, which now contains this giant shaped, tick-shaped thing,
Nice.
it is glowing. The one that has the body in it, it is not glowing. You can also see, working around this tick-shaped thing, this bizarre-looking bird-like person. Definitely creatures that you would call Kenku. They're busy hammering on it and pulling and tweaking and adjusting and chatting away in this bizarre language to themselves.
Even if
They are
I
not
don't
aware of you.
understand the language, do I have any idea what kind of language it is, or like what it is that they're?
No, it's
No idea.
it sounds, it's weird.
Yeah, all right, it's weird. I got it. No sign of anyone who has come out of this vehicle or anything.
No. As a matter of fact, you're not even entirely sure how you would get into the vehicle. It looks more like teeth, spines. It's got a ram's skull on the front. Yes, just a very strange looking structure. And of course, then that giant flesh baggy creature is still wandering around, being all fleshy, baggy, creaturey.
Nice.
I will show you all an image of that.
Oh,
And
wow.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's-
it's an interesting
circular feeding
mix.
system.
Yeah,
That's it's almost cute, but like it's I don't know. It's
I don't know
she
about
did
that one.
make a deal with the devil.
It's quite aggressive.
So that's her childhood upbringing. So yes, it's almost cute.
I'm just saying it's sort of in that area where it's either horrifying or cute, and you're not quite sure.
pretty
Anyway.
sure. I'm fairly sure where I am.
Alright, no.
I've got some ideas.
Very confident.
Fine,
Very
fine.
confident.
Don't take my word for it.
There you go. That's what you are seeing as you are wandering around. Back to the rest of the Thorn. You are making your way forward. You need to give me a stealth check, if you please, with your +10.
Sure thing.
Please make it.
I mean, sure.
A dirty 20. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. So I get to make one of these. Not a dirty 20.
Ooh.
But
Oh, that was close.
as you walk
Wow.
around the corner, this flesh baggy thing seems to look over in your direction, Thorn, with this pipe of intestine sticking out of where its mouth used to be. And it looks as if the intestine is pulsating,
Mm-hmm.
and bits of its head start to swell,
Mm-hmm.
as if there is a subcutaneous cyst or something forming.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Want to say one thing. Yuck.
I don't know. I'm standing by. You know, I'm standing.
I'm
by
gonna
my thing.
use hidden step and turn invisible.
Okay. There we
Extek
go.
goes. Oh, thank God.
Yes, you watch as Thorn vanishes. Back to the top of the group here. We've got May. You're at the top of the tower. You think you've barricaded this thing shut completely. What are you doing?
Back off. I will come down these sides then.
All right, you walk down the side. You join Nazaya and Yorman. That's
Kind of
two.
vertically,
Yes. As you
like
walk.
parallel to the floor. I
Walk
just
down.
walked out with my arms crossed.
What's the range of your pass without trace, Nazaya?
Probably be the
Used
same.
to.
I think it'd be
Yeah,
30 feet.
it's just simply
It's just a spell.
it should be 30 feet. I'm just
Alright.
casting it in a different way, but
Sure thing.
it's the same
Yep.
spell.
So May remains within that sphere of influence. So yes, Jormund, Nazaya,
30 feet.
May. What are you guys doing as May joins you?
So.
I think the others have gone forward to scout. Do you think we should join them or perhaps wait till they come back?
I think if they are scouting, then we should wait for them to come back or scream. Right?
I have the feeling that Ixtec is invisible, right? So we won't know where they are. So
Yes,
we
so
can't
following
join
them would be ludicrous, yes.
yes, it would be not sound tactical advice.
Would be stupid. Oui.
Yeah, what she said.
Would one of you please roll me a d10?
Oh no.
Any one of you.
Sure.
Oh.
First one in was a 6. Absolutely fine. Nothing seems to change as the three of you stand there, tactically deciding that tactically things are tactical over here.
I'm gonna turn on and I'm gonna cast message to Jormund.
Sure.
And I'm going to say there are 2 Kenku creatures in one of the vehicle bays, but no one else. That creature seems very wary of its surroundings. Be careful.
I turn to Naziah and Mai.
Yes.
It seems as though the opportunity for assassination has appeared. There are 2 Kenku in the garage just beyond. Ixtec has eyes on it, but the large creature is also quite vigilant and alert. You both think you could make these 2 Kenku slightly more deader than they currently are? Quietly, of course.
Should we not go for the hag first? Just asking.
If we have the machine, we can use the machine to end the hag.
In a way that we can still use the head?
Well, retrieving a head can be in various forms. No one said it had to be not flat or crushed.
That is true, but I think getting to the hag with a machine when she is in a building is not going to be the most easy thing. I mean, if you want something dead, I can make it dead. That's fine. It's what I do. But I don't think we'll go further as getting ahead.
Let's start by at least ensuring that the vehicle is secured.
You just want to get in there.
Yes.
I think it's good.
Yes, I do.
I get it. This place is horrible. There's nothing to do. Let's go kill something. Come on.
Messiah climbs up the roof of these sheds.
Yeah.
There is a roof over the sheds?
There is, yes.
Yeah, fine.
Because it
Then
might rain.
climbing up.
Okay, that's what the 2 of you are doing.
Might it?
Thorn?
So, hidden step only lasts for the end of my next turn, so that's gone now.
Okay.
So I am technically visible, although I'm still standing still. I'm just going to wait and watch it. Can I gain any sort of information on what the creature is doing? Is it magical in nature?
It's definitely magical. It's you can see now, the more that you look at it, bits of different creatures have been stitched together. And some of the stitching is old, some of it's new. So I just want to clarify here. When you say you're basically just a tree standing in the middle of a salt plain, you are stealth still?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of stealth stuff. I've got my pass without trace on, and I also have the cloak of elvenkind. So I'm very difficult to see.
Right.
Almost like, eyes just pass over. There's always been a little tree guy there. It's, well, I'm 7 foot tall, but I mean, big tree guy, but
Trees are tall.
Mm-hmm.
Trees are indeed tall. Yes. Apparently that's what the red caps believe. It's like, well,
yeah. Well, that's good.
Apparently.
Yep. Thorn is confident in his abilities to blend in.
In the middle of a salt desert. Yep. Fire, trees on fire. Well, actually,
sheer
trees
confidence
on fire. Not bad.
Will get you far.
Just grow casual. So that's what's happening there. The growth on the side of the creature's head, you see, is now getting to the point where the flesh is being pressed white from inside. Something is trying to push through the flesh, but is having a difficult time because the flesh is quite rubbery. Yeah. So.
Can I ask a question that may be a bit troubling? Where's Pierre?
You have no idea.
Oh, okay. He's wandered off. Well, that's fine. I forgot about him. So
Yes,
that's. Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna watch it. I'm just gonna watch it.
You're just gonna watch it. Okay, you're all busy watching Ixtec.
Is there any kind of windows or openings in this little hidden area here? This little, I don't know what it is, a shed?
Window would be the inappropriate term. Gap that has not yet had stuff stuffed into it or bolted over it would be the appropriate word.
I would like to mind the gap.
All right.
And just peek inside.
Peeking inside, not a problem. It looks as if it is a warehouse, or the more you look at it, the more it looks like a gnomish factory. There's some benches with workbooks, there's bits of machinery, there's some crates and barrels, and a flickering torch illuminating the entire interior.
Where is the door?
Right underneath Nazia's character token.
Oh, yeah, now I see. Yeah.
Oop, sorry.
That's right.
Standing on doors here.
So that is what you see inside.
I'm just gonna wander closer to this tick car and try to get a better look at it.
Sure thing.
Tick car.
Yeah, tick car, tick thing. It's
car roach. Sure.
Yeah, croach. There we
Croach.
are. We'll take the croach to work today. So yes, you are getting ever so closer to this space. I've just got to check one last thing as you move into or out of the view of various things. Okay, you are fine. Yes, you approach closer. They're continuing to mutter and work on things. Jormund?
I love it when a plan comes together. No, I don't want to ruin everyone's stealth check by moving. I love being a paladin. No, the plan is still going ahead. Yormund is going to find another like bit of refuse, preferably something hollow like a tin can or a box or something. And I'm going to ready an action if the large creature were to start moving towards, well, any of the people moving around, to basically just huck this thing to make some noise over by the trash pile.
Okay. All right, that's your plan. It's a good plan. On the roof, Nazia?
I just quickly runs across the roof, looking for obvious holes or things like that where she might break an ankle. It's not part of the plan. But she's very quick and stealthy.
Yes. And in doing so, you did say you were checking. Give me a perception check, if you so please.
Yes, for sure. Let me scroll to perception.
I feel like any moment we fail some kind of save, that's it. It's all going to kick off.
House of cards on the floor.
I'm basically blind, obviously.
Apparently, yes. The challenge is the roof appears to be, some of it was constructed, some of it appears to have been thrown up here as a way of getting it out of the way. So some of the panels are actually just loose, slipping around. Give me a dexterity saving throw. As one of the panels you steps on jerks bizarrely to the left.
I will use my magical ring to reroll that one.
Okay,
Yes.
You are lucky.
Do it.
There you go.
It's better.
Yeah.
It shifts to the left with you on it, and you just slide with it. Thankfully, the scraping sound is perfectly timed, as luck would have it, with one of those Kenku creatures dragging a sheet of metal across the garage floor as they drag it into place. And you come to a graceful stop where you were intended to be. May...
Step off the sheet of metal and act like this was my plan all along.
May, you see the very graceful, very delicate maneuvers of a very professional monk in action, and then realize that you are no longer obscured by shadow, but are now standing on the roof of the structure, quite alone. But you are still the stealthy rogue of the night.
Oh.
No one can see me. Unless I want to see.
Yes.
I hope. So the minute Nazaya moves away,
Yes.
May is like, oh, merde. And she just like goes straight down and
Yes.
she looks around like this. And then she watches in wonder as Nazaya skids across the roof and comes to a grateful stop and goes, I don't think she meant to do that. And she cuts away very carefully across the roof because she values her ability to survive.
All right.
So yeah, I'm gonna stealth my way across here slowly. If I'm stealthing, I can move just my movement, right? No further.
Yes, if you don't want to rush, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not rushing.
All
No, I
right.
think I
So you
land
get to
there.
land there. Okay. Give me a perception check, please, as you're making your way across this roof.
I will do that. In fact, it is a perception with
Advantage?
Right?
With the face, yes.
With. I said sight,
Facial
but
perception.
with my face is fine.
So it's smelling.
Yeah, there's a whole combination of things that go into this. You're absolutely fine. You can see bits of roof that are not entirely stable as you make your way forward. Thorn, you watch as the skin of this beast finally erupts, and from it, this slimy, very mucus-covered, very pink, veiny thing rolls out of it and hangs limply on the side of its head for a moment, just sloughing off this liquid ooze onto the ground.
Oh man, that thing is disgusting.
And then you
Ugh.
watch as the tip, which is vaguely worm-like, starts to twitch.
Mm.
And then the whole beast lumbers down onto its hands and knees, and this organ, for lack of a better word, flops onto the salt. And then everything just seems to wait as this organ sits there. You can then see veins on the organ starting to expand and solidify as blood is pumped into this thing. What are you doing?
Just watching, fascinated.
Watching in horror.
What
This is amazing. Whatever's
Okay.
gonna happen, it's gonna be terrible.
Can anyone else see this, or is it just me looking at this thing giving birth to a worm? Is it?
It's his
Muzzle.
brainchild.
Oh.
Baby, he's a mama.
Mm.
It's still attached to it, but
Right.
yes, it's,
That happens.
It's X-Tech. You hear
Yes,
this
guy.
flopping wet sound behind you. as
Ixtec
you're-
has had one look at the sort of growing thing and just decided
Yes.
to not deal with that. And is have I noticed anything or spotted anything about this vehicle?
other
Any
than-
entrance, any people
Yeah,
inside?
every now and again you can see that there is a large door on the side, and the Kenku sort of hop as their strange gait requires. They sort of hop inside and then they hop out again and bang some stuff around. But again, chatting away in a language you just don't speak.
I'm going to start making my way back to this the little shed area, the little gnomish workshop
Okay,
thing.
move yourself.
Yes. I'm not sure how many of these I have now.
As you get there, stop.
Ah,
The organ thorn that you are watching, you don't know this. You have no idea what triggers this because you cannot see what's happening. But that organ with all of its veins all over it suddenly seems to convulse. And there is this spray of blood that ejects from, the worm-like head. And I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please, Ixtech, with disadvantage.
Okay. Oh, hang on. Disadvantage. There we go.
We knew it was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen.
Wow.
Oh,
The
wow.
spray of blood is ejected at you. And you are taken completely by surprise because...
Yeah, I was not paying attention to that thing.
And you're invisible. But you watch, Thorn, as this thing just suddenly goes... just sprays out blood at the side of the shed. And then suddenly there is a very, very weird blood golem statue that looks exactly like Ixtech, who has just been hit by about 45 liters of warm blood.
Oh my! It's turned Ixtech into a blood thing. Oh.
Jorman?
I throw the tin can.
That's your move.
Clank, clank, clank.
I don't know if that helps, but I had it ready.
We are going to go into an initiative round here
Yeah.
because the red caps all see this blood thing and they're shocked. They're shocked. So we're starting. No, you don't get a turn.
Like, mother?
Yeah. All right.
So is my invisibility broken? Did I take damage? What
you
happened?
did not take any damage, and you think you're
covered
still
in blood.
invisible, but the blood is sticking to you, and you
The
realize
blood is not invisible.
as blood normally is quite liquid. This has got more of a slime feel to it, so it's globbing off, but it's still definitely coated you completely. The front half of you anyway. The back half of you just looks like a train wreck victim. The front is just blood everywhere. So yes, this is what happens as we jump into initiative. Suddenly the one Kenku that was busy working on something looks up, looks over at you, Ixtech, looks at the large thing, and squawks something, sees that there's no effect, so switches through to stop, drop, roll. That's all it says to you. It doesn't do anything other than that. Mademoiselle Rouge.
Oui.
You saw bits of blood spray up from where you were.
That it was dégoûtant. But what you going to do? This whole place is awful. I hate it. I am really too far away to do very much, but I am going to continue to go over here. 6. And oui, d'accord. Okay, so I am going to go 6, 7, 8. I am going to go underneath the roof and down this side, stealthing.
Oui. Would you give me a stealth check, please?
I will do that thing.
Upside down.
I do not do very well.
There is an action that has happened. Whether it is well or not will be determined at a future date.
Something has definitely happened.
So that's your movement. You can see the one Kenku is pointing viciously at a very bloodied Ixtech.
Oui.
The other one has not yet moved.
Can I attack as well?
If you so wish, you have an action.
Not okay.
Then I will
This is
attack.
not okay.
I am going to do some stabbing. I'm very excited about it. I have the power of assassinate, which means I will attack with advantage
Oui.
because he has not taken a turn.
Yes.
So I am going to do some stabbage. with my sneaky rapier. Bien.
Yes, you stab him thoroughly. Definitely
I have some-
stabbed.
Very stabbed.
Because I am an assassin and I have
Aye.
used assassinate,
Uh-huh.
it is automatically a critical hit.
Lovely.
So I am going to do very much stabbing.
Mon Dieu.
I need a little bit of help because I do not know how to roll a crit.
It's just double.
Double the dice.
Yeah, so
just roll it twice. I shall do that.
13
And,
points of damage,
I'll do that again.
plus 25 points of damage.
Yes,
He
Wow.
drops dead.
oui.
Thump.
So I
Flop.
drop off the wall with my rapier in my hand, and I go
Huh?
straight through his neck.
He drops to the floor.
Oui.
Blood spurting out of his neck.
It is disgusting, but quite warm.
That's what you do. Thorn, you watch as Mademoiselle Le Rouge apparently appears out of nowhere and completely renders this Kenku silently dead. And then you look over at Ixtec standing there covered in blood. And then the giant throbbing fleshy thing, which just
Okay, I guess we're doing this then. Thorn steps backwards, puts both of his hands out like this, and then slams them forwards and creates a massive shockwave. And I cast Cool Lightning.
Ooh,
okay.
Oh my!
Does it still
Hey,
have that very long
cool
time?
lightning.
A 10-foot tall, 60-foot radius storm forms
Oh.
above me.
Yes.
And I point over at the red caps, and a lightning bolt erupts. And
What's the
they
casting
have to
time
take
of Cool Lightning?
one action.
One action. Okay.
And they have to take a dexterity saving throw.
So
They
that's
are
a cluster of three just down there on their own. They were busy smoking. One of them's currently swallowing their cigarette, having seen what's just happened to the Kenku. But yes, okay. So those three.
Yep, each creature within 5 foot of the point that I cast at.
Okay. So Red Cap 6, known as Gextrol. Red Cap 6 Gextrol to his friends. Dexterity saving throw, you say?
Yes.
As he gets hit.
Yep.
Red Cap 4. Don't know what you're talking about! He says as he gets fried. And Red Cap 5. Why are we dancing? I don't know why we're dancing, he says as he's getting struck as
Thank you,
well.
Fancy Grounds.
Those are some unlucky little thing.
So they all take 3d10 lightning damage, so I'm just going to roll one of them.
Just roll it, and I'll put it onto them. Yeah,
Okay, sure.
22 points of damage.
Nice.
Yep.
Bye-bye, little mushroom friend.
Each.
Let me just check. No immunities. No. Bloody hell! Who made these creatures? Nothing. Nothing.
I don't think they're meant to be fighters.
Just
Are they?
exploded them.
Well, yeah, they stand there sizzling and twitching and yes,
Are they dead?
looking wounded. They're not dead. They're
Oh, okay.
looking
Oh,
pretty wounded. They're looking pretty wounded. Are you doing anything else?
No.
No. Alright.
Yep.
In which case, then, the giant creature with its weird proboscis starts to it lifts up, and that hanging thing is still there, and it simply says, "Mickey!" And then it charges at speed towards Ixtec.
ah,
It covers
Nice.
the distance easily. 5, 10, 15, 20. It arrives and
I.
it
Warlock.
it swings that weird tubular-like thing at you, X, and misses. And then you realize that it's swung past, and then it's trying to swing it back at you. And connect with a dirty 20.
Yeah, nothing I can do about that.
No,
Is the damage class called disgusting?
Perhaps. And Ixtec, you take some damage as it slams into you.
It ate up the temporary hit points I got from murdering that man earlier.
It did indeed. Aren't you lucky you murdered?
I am not lucky. I am master of my own fate. Thank you very much.
I
made
love
that
it.
happen.
Nazia, you're watching this play out beneath you.
There's a slight retching sound from the roof. And then she looks down at what her cousin just did with the poor Kenku and decides that she's going to be fine with the second Kenku. She's not going to have any problems.
Good job.
Yeah. So if the program had not just frozen on me, I'd move my icon.
Where are you heading to?
Nazaya is running and then jumping towards the disgusting creature that just now hit Ixtec with its thing.
I'll move you there. So, not the giant.
That was the problem. That's why I couldn't move myself.
When we say Nazaya is a machine, we don't mean a war machine.
We don't mean a war machine. No. All right. So yes, you land next to him. Not a problem.
And then I'm going to do my 2-1 combo of hopefully doing some damage monk style. So
Perfect.
Nazaya is coming, swinging in with her weapon, and then in the backswing, and then following it up with an elbow to some place on the creature that looks like it might feel pain.
All right. Make your attack.
Hard to tell. Not very hard to tell.
It is difficult to tell. It is difficult to tell.
So let's see whether I can hit that. That's a hit. I'm doing so little damage, especially compared with Mrs. Stabby over there. That's a hit.
You do damage many times. She goes for quality, you go for quantity. It's just, complement each
Then
other.
the elbow up to some place.
Yes.
I don't know what kind of organ I'm going to hit, but something somewhere.
Yeah,
on this creature.
you hit it. You definitely hit it. Now I'm just busy looking at the damage that you're dealing there. Yes, you pound away on the various bits. Some of it is hard, like chitin when you slam into it. Others are very, very skin-like and soft, and some are like hitting a hard muscle as you just pound away into this poor thing, slamming into it. It doesn't seem to notice too much.
Still, Desire does her best, and then she also hisses, "No hitting Ixtec!"
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Shush! Go away!
I got it in my mouth. It's in my mouth.
Yordman.
Hearing the sounds of battle, Yormund begins to move forward. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. As he steps forward, as he was walking, he sort of pulls down on his sort of like big neck brace, sort of almost giving himself air to sort of get ready to roar. And as he does so, places a protection from evil upon his body.
Okay.
The magic sort of flows and pulses like energy, which protects me from many forms of evil.
Yes, it does.
Giving me immunity to charm, frighten, and possession.
Lovely.
As well as anyone who tries to attack me who is of the evil subtype must roll at disadvantage.
Very nice. Very nice indeed.
So half this party.
She does not do anything. That does not do anything. And so red cap number 1 is...
What? I don't do anything? Why don't I do anything?
I don't know. No, I'm presuming... Did I skip you? I skipped you. I don't know. I thought I pressed the next button. I did, and I didn't stop. I don't know why. My brain...
I saw myself coming up in the list and just disappearing up here.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I must double click. My apologies. X-Tech, what are you doing?
I'm going to try to stop trying to scrape the horrible thing out of my mouth, and I'm going to cast Hold Person on this massive thing. It is a person. Does it count as a humanoid? Is it vaguely humanoid?
I will tell you now. Mickey is...
A what?
Yes. Well, you cast
it has a head and arms and legs.
It does, some of which it has more than 2.
Ooh.
But yes, you cast your spell.
I tried to cast it.
All right. Does it work against constructs? I don't think it does.
Don't know. It's just humanoid.
Yeah.
She's a humanoid.
You cast your spell, but it does not seem to have any effect.
Curses. All right.
Does not seem to have any effect on this large creature.
Then I'm going to leg it.
Give me an intelligence check. Oh, give me an arcana check since you did cast Hold Person upon this thing.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No!
It's probably immune. It's probably immune.
Yes, it's probably immune. It's fine. It just doesn't want to be held. Yes, it's got issues.
And then you're going to try and run?
Yes, I'm going to try and move in behind this massive this thing here. This
anvil?
Yeah, the massive. No, not the anvil. The massive, horrible, monstrous
machine carcass?
Machine thing. Yes, thank you.
Okay, I will let you do that.
This thing.
You start traipsing away as best you can. I need you to give me a strength check, if you please.
Ooh, interesting. Not my best ability.
You realize that the bile that is sprayed upon you is so viscous that you actually can't pull yourself free from the spot that you're on.
Oh.
There might be a small part of your brain going, well, that's particularly effective against intruders, isn't it? Can't run away. Well, yeah, as you stuck to where you are.
Right. Well, this might be a problem.
It might be. Are you finished? You've done your spell and you tried to move and discovered that you couldn't. Red cap number 1.
Didn't do either one of them.
You didn't do either one of them.
In fact.
Absolutely. Red cap number 1. I'm just going to make a quick little check here as that red cap number 1. He gets a natural 20.
Ooh.
Okay.
The precocious mushroom.
He does.
He's a smart one.
He does indeed. And Jormund, you hear from behind you this sort of as the door you jammed is attempted to be opened. And then you hear some cursing and muttering as the door is jammed once again. And then you hear a "Hurry, you bastards!" And then the jaw explodes off of its hinges and is impaled in the building opposite. And this very angry-looking redcap is left with his giant heavy boot still suspended in the air where he kicked the door open, having succeeded on his strength check.
If Yormund had eyebrows, he'd be raising them at the moment. Like
He'd be raising them at the moment. Yes, he would. So there is one of these individuals standing there looking particularly unhappy with... Oops, wrong tab. Looking unhappy with life as he has kicked in this door. Red cap number 2 is going to make a quick little saving throw here. No, he is laughing. He is laughing incredibly loudly at his dancing brothers. Don't you look like a stupid pair of dancing Dangly things. That's so funny. Red cap number 3 is looking at his companion with all the curiosity of someone who does look at a deranged thing as he shouts, "We're under attack, you bloody idiot! We've got to go sort it out now!" And he starts running forward, not moving as fast as he would like to. So he gets to there and he shouts, Mickey, kill them all! Just kill everything! I mean, no, just kill them! Kill them, save us! He's shouting as he's doing that. And he's pulling out this rather vicious-looking, bent, sickle-shaped sword of some kind. Number 4, the lightning has gone away, has it? It was just one strike.
Mm-hmm. It's just a lightning bolt. Basically,
Right.
it just goes.
Yes. He has turned around and he's looking directly at you, Thorn, and he looks at his companions and he goes, Gextrol, Lumi, I told you that tree wasn't there yesterday. And he charges forward and gets there. As he's busy doing it, he's busy pulling out this bent sickle. Also running forward. And 5, who identifies as Gextrol, is sort of looking around. He's like, oh, yeah. Does look a little different. So he's rushing forward also to try and get to you. Red Cap 6, Lumi, as he's called, is... well, as a matter of fact, let's just do this quickly. Oh, yeah, he's pretty smart. He shouts, "We're under attack!" and starts rushing towards the gatehouse. And number 2, who's still laughing his backside off. He's not there, so that takes us to the top of the round. And the Kenku watches as his fellow Kenku drops before you, May. Looks back up at you, May, and says, "Alas, poor Horatio," and then flies at you with this heavy spanner, intent on committing grievous bodily harm. As he swings it, the whole hammer erupts in this red infernal flame.
Ooh.
That's a do not.
Ow.
He swings wide over your head, however, and then looks at you. "Alas, poor me." Mademoiselle Rouge, there is a very sad-looking Kenku holding a flaming warhammer in front of you.
He gonna die.
Oh, he did.
He did.
He did.
Oh, we'll see. I'm not in my element right now. I'm
Visible
better
scene.
stabbing things where they're not stabbing me back.
Yes.
But let's try this. No.
No.
Oh.
He hops to the side, holding his hammer. Yes?
One moment. Because I am a little sneaky, I can disengage at will, and I go 15 feet up sideways the wall.
All right.
I'm just standing sideways up the wall with my rapier ready.
He looks at you. Doesn't know what to say. Thorn. These demented midgets are charging towards you with these sickles in hand.
Well, the storm around me is still raging, and so I just
God.
basically call down another bolt of lightning and just right in the middle of them, so it lands between them.
Of 4 and 5.
Yep. And they need to make another dex saving throw.
4 is busy running forward, tries to make the dexterity saving throw. Not again! He shouts as he rolls to the floor. 5 is running, and he's like, "You're supposed to dodge it, you stupid!" Wow! It missed! He says as he leaps to the side.
Okay. So 15 to one of them, and then the other one takes half.
7. All right. So the not that. Sorry. It's there. So the one that it hit directly, he kind of drops to his knees and he's like, "Oh, do it again, big boy!" And then he sort of falls over to the side, looking pained. The one who dodged out of the way, looks at you, Thorn. "Oh, I'm gonna do some pruning today," he says as he continues rushing forward, sparks crackling in his hair. You doing anything else?
Well, you can try it, and then there's like the more lightning going.
Oh boy, yeah, he's not entirely sure.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
is he within 10 feet of me? Which one is down?
Yes. The one that's fallen over onto his side is red cap number 4. The one that's still rushing forward, known as Lumi, is known as Gextrol. He is 15 feet away from. Let's see, 5, 10, 15. Yeah, give or take 15.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. The giant flesh bag. What did you say exactly to him, Nazaya?
No hitting Ixtec.
Okay. Would you please give me either a persuasion or... No, just give me an intimidation check. The way that you said that, give me an intimidation check, if you please.
Oh. You know, at least I got a bonus there from my Orcish background.
Yeah.
Intimidation. Too cute to intimidate.
It looks at you for a moment, and it sort of hunches back as if it's being scolded. No! And it just tries to hit. It just tries to hit Ixtec again, as apparently it decided your orders were not relevant. So the tubule swings around again, slams into the side of you, Ix.
Yep.
14 points of damage.
Ouch.
As the slimy thing hits you, and then it's just going to try again.
That's an owie right there.
There's another dirty 20 for you.
Hey, I'm down again.
Yeah. You were just knocked into that blood pile.
Way, I'm rubbish.
And Nazaya, you watch as that tube-like thing flops down on top of Ixtec.
Ew.
And
No.
seems to start making its way towards Ixtec's head. Slowly
No, we're not
inching
having
along.
that. That's not going to happen.
That's
Oh my.
Nazaya,
No.
you're
Nazaya.
acting.
Nazaya rushes forward and has a 3-pronged plan for getting that thing off Ixtec. First, dragging, then cutting, and then kicking Ixtec away. So let's see which one works.
Okay, so what are you going to try first?
Tugging.
Tugging on Ixtec or on the tendril?
No, on the proboscis.
All right, yes. I need you to make an attack against the proboscis, if you please. A regular
Thank
attack.
you for naming it a proboscis. I'm grateful.
Okay.
Uh,
Just on Mickey?
Yes.
oh.
You grab the proboscis, which is probably about a foot in diameter, and you try and pull, but the whole thing is covered in mucus, so your hands just slip off with this gunk on them. So that's the result of that, I'm afraid. You can't pull it free.
Then my second attack is going to swing my monk weapon around and try to... The monk weapon has this sickle-like thing to just cut it off.
Make your second attack against it.
I'm feeling like a gardener here.
You hit it. You slice into it. Do your damage.
Don't let it
It
eat me.
cuts in deep. Fresh red blood sprays out of the wound. And to your relief, you notice that the tip stops making its way towards Ixtec's head and is now looking back reaching back at you.
That's fine. I'm still able to defend myself, and I'm doing that by forming a fist. Well, I swung my forming a fist and then punching the wound as hard as I can.
Wow. Just violent. You
Punch
hit.
the wound.
You
Yay!
Barbie. There we go. I said no hitting Ixtec!
Okay, now just to be sure, your attacks count as magical.
Yes.
Okay.
My fists are magic weapons.
Yes, because it's not taking that into account, so I'm just going to add that in.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, you slam into it. Again, it's like hitting solid muscle, but definitely connecting. Jormund, you were watching Ixtec drop. You're watching Nazaya just waylay into this proboscis, slamming it, cutting it, just shredding into it. What are you doing?
Jormund takes a couple of bold steps forward and steps in front of Thorn, just interposing himself between his ally and the two redcaps. He kind of looks at them with a scowling gaze before turning to Mickey. He drops his chains to the ground and points a metal glove towards the large proboscis creature and says, "Come." And I'm going to cast Command on Mickey. So he needs to make me a wisdom saving throw, target number of 14, or he moves towards me.
Just a quick question. I need you to tell me, what does the Rod of Command, what does it affect?
Oh, the Rod of Command? I have that up. But I'm not using... Oh, sorry. It's not a Rod of Command. It's just the command spell.
Oh, it's just the spell? Okay,
Yeah.
And he gets a saving throw?
He does. Wisdom saving throw. Otherwise, he follows the command on his next turn.
He gets a 10.
He fails.
He does indeed.
So he is going to come for me, and then basically because I'm effectively using the approach command, target moves towards you the shortest and most direct route, ending its turn if it moves within 5 foot of me.
Okay, that is definitely what it's doing. Yes, Nazaya?
Moving away from me.
It will on its turn. The door to the structure is thrown open. And that woman in brown leathers with blonde hair steps out. Although she no longer is a nubile woman with blonde hair and tight leather, now she's this ancient old vegetable. She looks like she's been left in the sun for about 1,000 days too many. Brown walnut-like skin, grey hair hanging in bits and pieces. You can see there's some curlers hanging from it. She's wearing, possibly it was a floral lilac blousey robe thing once. Now it's kind of covered in brown stains and cigarette ash because there's this horrid cigarette hanging out of her mouth. And there are these slippers that are definitely, they're initially you go, oh, it's cute little rabbit slippers, until you realize that she's basically just taken 2 rabbits and shoved her feet into them and is wearing them as slippers. As she stands at the doorway looking at what's going on, she just takes a lazy drag on the cigarette and continues to watch as this battle unfolds. And she takes another drag, looks around at everyone, drops the cigarette down onto the ground, and says, Mickey? But of course Mickey is under your command spell, so Mickey does not respond. Then she looks at the red caps and she's like, Lumi, if they, no, you know what, it's a bad day, just kill them all, she says. She turns and she steps back in and closes the door. And we'll be back next week as this titanic battle continues to rage on. Ixtech is down, and things are looking very organ-like. As
You might say that Ixtech is in
Organic.
a sticky situation.
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh,
it's absolutely
Michael.
terrible. Absolutely terrible. Big thank you to my wonderful players for being here today and for bringing the jolliness and the joy that is. Who knew this was going to happen? It was brilliant. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The greatest of sneaking right up until the not sneaking. So...
To be fair, that was cheating. I had no idea that was possible to even do. Like, what was that thing? What even happened? It's just like give birth to a snail creature that explodes blood on invisible people. It's like, is that in the PHP? Is
it?
What if we...
Is it? Who knows?
If you refer to your rule
I
book,
want to
it's
play
usually
that
oh
next
me, oh
time.
my.
Anyway, big shout out to our wonderful sponsors, Fantasy Grounds, for throwing the dice in all the different directions, and also for allowing me to have all my monsters on hand, ready to go the moment that the party decided to invade. I really do appreciate that. Big thank you to Fantasy Grounds. Of course, big thank you to World Anvil, where all of the characters and the world that we're currently playing in can be found, and to Dungeon Fog for providing us with these maps upon which we might watch this chaos play out. Until next week, head on over to www.greatgamemaster.com to cast your vote to see if the demons should remain in power or if it should shift somewhere else. There are in-game ramifications. We haven't yet seen them. We were going to, and then we didn't. So they do exist, trust me. They are out there. So there is that.
Nice.
We're going to go on over to twitch.tv/greatgm for Afterlife, where we will be chatting about things that go on in the show with the cast. So if you want to join us for that, that kicks off in about 5 minutes or so as we take a look behind the scenes with the players. Until next week, however, a big shout out to Dungeons & Dragons for giving us this wonderful place to play in. And again, we will see you all next Saturday for more adventures in the Blood War.